Twitter is a place where fun and happiness goes to die. But people have talked about how shitty Twitter is a million times by now. I'm not going to be talking about that today. I'm not here to add another noodle to that spaghetti. Instead, I want to talk about my favorite moment on Twitter. And this is a classic. This is something that I still think about pretty often, and it puts a big goofy smile on my face. And I'd like to share it with all of you just in case you weren't on Twitter at that time. And if you weren't, God bless you. Keep up the good work. But for those of you that may have missed it, I'd just like to bring it to your attention because this was truly one of the best moments on Twitter in my opinion. This happened in the crazy, wild, and wacky year of 2018. It was August 21st, and a young Charles White had only just recently celebrated his 23rd birthday. At the time, I hadn't even considered growing my hair out. How naive I was back then. A silly short-haired Charles in all his hubris took to Twitter on August 21st as he typically did, just perusing and seeing what was going on, cruising the internet, when all of a sudden his eyes were drawn to a developing story that was starting to really make waves on the platform. And the story involved NASA and a recently hired intern. Everyone shut the fuck up. I got accepted for a NASA internship. That's absolutely massive. That's huge. Like, that is a big accomplishment and something definitely worthy of celebration. Like, shit, I would be going wild too, ripping my shirt off and twirling it over my head if NASA even asked me to lick their toilet seats clean. So absolutely, I see the jubilation they were going through, but perhaps they celebrated a bit too aggressively. A while after the initial tweet, there was this response from a man named Homer Hickam, and he said something very simple: language. This is some shit like right out of a movie. One single word that changes everything, and it did. You see, on Twitter, most people assume that when there's just a picture of a person and they're an older person, that it's either a fake account or someone that they can just bully. I don't know why Twitter has that impression that old people just deserve to be bullied on the internet, but that's how it goes on Twitter, where everyone gets bullied. So Homer came in here and just dropped his cock on the celebration, just flopped his meat out on the fucking birthday cake here, and just said exactly what every teacher growing up would say when the class was getting rowdy: language. And the community didn't take too kindly to that, and especially not the original poster, who replied with this: "Suck my dick and balls, I'm working at NASA." This is one of those lines that would be on their tombstone, because this was a big mistake. Like Icarus, they had flown too close to the sun and were burning up now. Because they didn't just talk shit to a random person on Twitter, they said this to Homer Hickam, who holds the entire future of this person's career in the palm of his hand. It just like, his picture reminds me of Chris Hansen, and just like Chris Hansen, Homer Hickman has come out here and fucking shocked this person. Homer Hickman responds by saying, "And I am on the National Space Council that oversees NASA." You basically couldn't have chosen a worse person to say "suck my dick and balls" to. When it comes to their new job, they basically just told Jesus Christ to suck their dick and balls. It was a bold and foolish move, because our original poster here lost the internship. And it wasn't Homer Hickam who caused them to lose their internship. He didn't go to corporate, talk to the manager, and demand they lose it or anything like that. He didn't tattletale. They lost their internship naturally as a result of this conversation catching so much steam online. And Homer Hickam actually ran a blog where he talked about this, where he defended this person and elaborates a little bit further on the situation. So Homer Hickman seems like a fucking great guy. I'll go ahead and read his blog post to you now, which is unfortunately deleted, but it has been archived, so here it is. Social media. I love the way he starts this. It's like immediately professional, as if he's giving a full-blown fucking press release here to Twitter. "Recently, it was called to my attention on Twitter that someone was being hired by NASA and that they were using the F word in a tweet about it. I'm a Vietnam vet and not at all offended by the F word. However, when I saw NASA and the word used together, it occurred to me that this young person might get in trouble if NASA saw it, so I tweeted to her one word, language, and intended to leave it at that. Soon, her friends took umbrage and said a lot of unkind things, but long after I was gone, as I immediately deleted my comments and blocked all concerned." Classic Twitter, bullying this guy until he just deactivates his shit, not surprising. Later, I learned she had lost her offer for an internship with NASA. This I had nothing to do with, nor could I, since I do not hire and fire at the agency or have any say on employment whatsoever. As it turned out, it was due to NASA hashtag her friends used that called the agency's attention to it long after my comments were gone. Again, classic Twitter. They thought they were helping, but they made it significantly fucking worse. It was all of her friends spamming NASA, which showed them the initial tweet of this person being extremely fucking hostile to a high-ranking NASA employee. So, excellent work, Twitter. We did it. She reached out to me with an unnecessary apology, which I heartily accepted and returned with my own. After talking to her, I am certain she deserves a position in the aerospace industry, and I'm doing all I can to secure her one that will be better than she lost. I have also talked to the folks that had to do with her internship and made absolutely certain that there will be no black mark on her record. Signed, Homer Hickam. It would have been such a power move and a huge mic drop if he didn't sign Homer Hickam and instead just ends it with, "Suck my dick and balls now." This guy seems like a real fucking class act. He gets absolutely fisted, his mud tunnel stretched on Twitter, unjustly, since he was literally just looking out for them in the first place by saying, hey, language, you shouldn't be saying NASA and fuck and suck dick and balls all in the same thing. NASA probably doesn't like that. Literally just looking out for this person and got nothing but hostility in response and having to deactivate his shit, and he still goes out of his way to try and help the person. That right there is a great guy. Now, from everything I've read, they never got the internship back, though they are still pursuing that field, and they were qualified for the position and still are qualified, but they no longer are offered that internship at NASA, and that's pretty much where the story ends. I just thought this was a truly fucking wild ride since I watched it happen in real time for the most part, and it was just so fucking crazy to see it go from like, I'm so happy, suck my fucking cock and balls, loser, I'm on NASA. Oh, there goes my internship. Just like this, it was like a full 4-act play, and it played out beautifully. And it was just great. So I just wanted to share that with all of you in case you never saw it, didn't know about it, and yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.